Delegate Glass. We have House Bill 2355.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So the House Bill 2355 is a bill to sort of pull together some best practices and consumer protections around solar. What we know is buying solar panels allow customers to generate clean energy and save money. However, choosing solar is like buying a car. Customers need to do their homework, check the prices, several resources that they think about because this is a big ticket item. What was happening in our community, and we found has been happening across the Commonwealth, is that elderly, senior citizens, and military families have been put in a difficult situation of just getting into bad deals, quite frankly. Now, we know that there are consumer protections out there. However, like our neighbors to the south, like South Carolina, we're looking at trying to pull a work group of those folks that are best, that have the best of the best practices so that we can really educate the public on solar scams, misconceptions, and then who to call if we have trouble. We already know that within the AG's office, there have been a lot of cases of consumers being scammed. So we think that this is the right step of pulling together a group of folks that are within the industry to include the Department of Energy to create those best practices to be able to do some education and consumer protections.
Okay. If anybody to speak in favor of the bill?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Ben Hoyne with Solar United Neighbors represent thousands of solar homeowners across the Commonwealth. Virginia has a really robust residential solar market, thanks to the hard work of many small businesses across the Commonwealth. And with that, bad actors have entered Virginia, as the delegate mentioned, have started to take advantage of folks, mislead folks, all that sort of stuff. And, it's really tarnishing the residential solar market here in Virginia, and again, these small businesses, and it's also harming homeowners and potential solar consumers here in Virginia. So we ask you to support this kind of first step to create a work group and with the hopes that we can propose some solutions. Again, South Carolina has set the example just in the last few years of specific solar consumer protection. So I ask you to support this bill. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Stephanie Johnson, Chesapeake Solar and Storage Association, we support this bill.
Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee, Dana Wiggins with the Virginia Poverty Law Center. We support this measure because even just last week, I received a call from a consumer who had been defrauded out of their money with respect to a solar panel issue, receiving solar panels from a company that, was not able to provide them with working solar panels, and then two, that company had everything on the iPad. They then signed. They thought they were supposed to receive the paperwork by email. They never received it. They were put into a financing agreement at that moment. They still have the financing agreement. They're still paying for solar panels, but that company is now out of business. They've been to the AG's office. The AG's office sent them to us. So it's just a real problem that we have been hearing about. We've had consumer attorneys calling our office asking for help. And so we think this work group is one step to actually trying to figure out what can be done, what does need to be done to help consumers, because people are being defrauded. We want to make sure that if they are receiving things like solar panels, especially as we move into low-income solar and those kind of things and people are being solicited, we want to make sure that they are actually receiving the products and there's actually a process and some recourse for people, and we want to be participating. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone here to speak in opposition to the bill? Delegate Sullivan, do you have a question?
I just want to speak to the bill.
Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank and congratulate Delegate Glass for bringing this. I don't know that there are many delegates in the General Assembly who talk more about solar than I do. Good news is Virginia is doing really well in terms of accelerating our use of solar. The bad news is, as one of the witnesses testified, and this is hardly unique to solar, human beings will sometimes do bad things, and we need to make sure that the consuming public knows what it's doing and has enough information to be able to separate the great solar developers we have here versus some who might be looking to take advantage. So I thank the delegate, and Mr. Chairman, I hope it will be the pleasure of this committee to report the bill, and I have a motion if I might make it.
Okay, well, anybody else on the bill? All right, it operates by motion. So have a motion to report.
substitute motion.
Substitute motion.
Lay the bill on the table.
Motion to lay the bill on the table. Is there a second? Second. And that has been moved and seconded. Just not debatable. Vote on the board. And House Bill 2355 is tabled on a vote of 5-1. Delegate Lass, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.